Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aries. If Aries is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Alright, let's get started. And so our card tonight is the Knight of Swords. Okay, let's see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. And if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. What was I going to say? If you haven't subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And so it is. And so it is. Oh, we have a big 5 right there. Look at that. Very prominent 5. And I'm sorry if I sound very gruff here. Shout out to Dove and Serpent Tarot, my husband over there, Paul. He's amazing. Go check his channel out. But we took a couple days off, and now videos are still coming out. But we took a little bit of a break for ourselves. Usually we work 7 days a week, so doing readings. And so, yeah, we said, hey, let's take a little break. Well, guess what? We got the flu. Of course. So I'm just trying not to cough here. And there's a 1 and a... Maybe it looks like 114. But also it looks like 112. So 114, 112. We also have a 3. Big 3, or little 3, I should say. Little 3. Right there. Okay, so we have some interesting numbers. We have kind of this, it almost looks like, a liar. Let's just say, like Pinocchio. Like the nose has grown, and look at the face. It looks pretty shameful, right? So then we have a person standing here, missing the head there. There's a question mark, then a dog. We also have a dog, and it looks like a child. So I kind of almost wonder if this is somebody who you have a child with, or maybe your child, maybe somebody you have taken care of, but I feel like there's this sense of they've been just kind of fibbing or lying. I mean, maybe they just have been straight out lying and manipulating. But I do feel like there's this sense of like you knew something was up. It's not like you don't notice, right? But you kind of wanted to, give them the benefit of the doubt and not, make a big problem where there didn't necessarily need to be one. But it seems like it's almost like they've gone too far with it, right? Taking advantage at this point. And I feel like, there's almost this feeling of like just losing your head. And with the dog, I think this has to do with a sense of loyalty being breached. Like, how could you treat somebody you love, somebody that you care about, this way? You cannot fathom, right? Now, I think it's a series of things, I don't necessarily think this is a huge thing. I don't think it's, the first thing that comes to mind is like, have they taken money or have they cheated? If this is like a a spouse or somebody you've had a child with or whatever. I don't think it's anything like that. I don't think it's like so profound that, you know, the landscape of your life will be altered. But I do think it's kind of like just really disheartening. Like, why are you lying about these things? You don't have to lie to me. You know, just be who you are. Say what it is. You know, there's no reason. So I think that this is something that's really kind of taken you aback and like, and I feel like it is. It's like, okay, well, now I'm going to have to start like really thinking about how long has this been going on? Why? What is this? You know, and if it's like a child or even a teenager, young adult, you know, it's hard to know. Like, are they trying things out? Are they like learning about the consequences of lying? Are they figuring out how they navigate the world, communication, this kind of thing? But it's also so hurtful, you know. My daughter's only 4, and of course, you know, at that age, it's like they fib here and there. I remember though, and it's only been recently that she's like figuring out how to kind of play mom and dad off of each other a little bit. And, or things like, I'll say, oh, well, what did your dad say? Did he say you could have that? Or, and she'll say, oh yeah, dad said it was okay. Well, no, dad did not say that it was okay. You know, and so it's like, come on. But yeah, I think it's kind of, it's something where it's building up and it's like, what is going on here? Like, why can't we just talk about things? So, I think it's worth really maybe disengaging if you are really in your emotions about it. Okay. Maybe taking this to, you know, like a trusted friend, a support person, counselor, therapist, whoever it is, right? Somebody who is kind of a third party, that is there to, you know, support you, to be there for you, and not necessarily be reactionary, you know. And so, you know, I think that this is something that, more than not, it's just a little bit heartbreaking. You know, your feelings get hurt. And I can only imagine, I can't, when your kids get into those teen years, and then it's like, whoa, you know, because that's your little buddy growing up. They are all grown up. And then they're just fibbing. Hopefully not, right? So, you know, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, as an Aries, you all, and especially with that Knight of Swords, you all just see through people's BS. I mean, you absolutely do. Now, do you want to always see through it if it's somebody you love? Maybe not. And that's okay. You know, I am all about transparency. I also I'm really big on people having their private lives. They should be able to, you know, keep things to themselves, even within your relationships, you know. Sometimes you don't need to know every little thing about somebody. Do we need to know the big things? Yes. Do we need to know a lot of the little things? Yeah. Do we need to know every little thing? No. No. And we shouldn't. People should have their own space, right? So it makes sense that sometimes it's like, you know, you don't need to always go digging through everything that your significant other is doing, or your kids are doing. Now with the kids, it can be a safety issue, so I get that, and that's, you know, that I don't know, I'm not to that point yet, but I will tell you that I'm pretty involved. I wouldn't say helicopter parent, but pretty involved, so I get that. But you know, I understand how you don't people need to have their space. So do we, right? We should have places where we're not being observed. And so, you know, I think that that's kind of a healthy boundary that you also have. So you know, ultimately, I don't think that this is something to get to, you know, in the question mark. I think that's really just kind of like, hey, like, what's going on? Maybe we need to look at this relationship dynamic, communication, a little more deeply. How can we work on this? You know, what is going on that that this would even come about, right? Okay, so we have a person who is traveling right here. You can see the little backpack there. Okay. And we have these peaks. Kind of, and there's a star right, where's my little pointer? And there's a star right here. And it looks like a house. I have the little chimney with the smoke coming out, the little entrance right here. And then we have another person here that looks like Hermes to me, or Mercury. So again, the message is coming through, the messenger of the gods, okay? So I feel like there is this sense of, oh, and there's a face. Okay, there, I was looking, I was like, what, how does this go together? Okay, so I see the face, it looks like the hat, the peak here, and then there's a star right here. We also have this question mark right here, okay? And this one's actually really beautiful. It looks kind of like, it reminds me of a bust, like a statue. So I feel like there's a sense of wanting to leave, to go on a journey, to go wandering about. I almost immediately think of like going hiking or going to some kind of like a little bit of like a road trip to see some natural wonders, go see some beautiful things near you, just to kind of de-stress yourself, get kind of grounded. But there, you know, the house is there. The house is strong. The relationships in your life are strong. I just feel like there's a sense of things have been going really well. They've been kind of unremarkable as far as, you know, troubles or you know, even great joys, but you'll take stability and consistency, and that feels good, and that's what you've been working towards. But the stain comes up and it feels like, okay, now this is it. I've been waiting for this moment. Everything's gonna be, you know, fall apart here. Everything is destabilized, you know, absolutely. It's like pulling that foundational piece out and it just all kind of starts to waver. Wow. Don't succumb to that feeling. Okay, don't catastrophize because something has gone wrong, or you feel lied to, or you feel, you know, like your energy has not been met. Okay, now if it's something serious, disregard. Okay, don't listen to me here. But if this is something that, yeah, it hurts your feelings. Yeah, it actually, it's like, okay, now I have to kind of think back for the last while and think what else has not been, you know, said. What have you been omitting? But I think that this is more an issue with them. I also think that, you know, it's a sense of communication being disrupted. Okay. So I think that there are ways to really get in there and try to work through it, problem solve some of the stuff. But I think the most important part here is that you need to take some time, okay? If it is a few hours, if it is a few days, if it is a couple of weeks or whatever, disengage and spend some time focused on your stuff, your needs, your wants. Go and do some things that support your well-being. Go do some things that feel fun, enjoyable, that feed your soul. You know, like I said, if it's like hiking, going for a walk in the park, sitting and feeding the birds, you know, whatever it is. I mean, it could be anything. But, you know, I think trying not to ruminate, that's the big key here. Don't sit and, you know, have this thing kind of devolve into a thought spiral. Okay. Now we have the star up here. So that tells me that you have goals right now. Big goals. You've been working your butt off to reach these goals. Get this life thing in the place that you want it to be. Now, it is part of the balance of the universe. Don't ask me why, I don't know. But when things start to go pretty smoothly, there often will be what we call ordeals kind of thrown in the mix. And I think that this is one of those things. This is one of those ordeals. And, you know, your feelings about it are valid, but don't let it corrupt you. Do not let it destroy the work that you've been doing. Do not let it consume you. Okay? Now, I know as an Aries, you're a big feeler. You feel things deeply, more than most people. And you take things very personally. And I think that, you know, usually that is the greatest attribute because it allows you to connect and empathize with others. But when other people have wronged you or hurt you or those you love, right? You know, that it is something that is a deep wound for you. Okay. Now, I think it's just, this is something that's going to have to take some time. And I think you're going to have to put it on a shelf a little bit. Because I feel like the person, whatever their sign is, whatever their relationship with you is, they are going to need some time too. Because I feel like when they are confronted with whatever they're doing, whatever they've been saying, whatever they've been lying about, it's their immediate reaction to kind of cover up for themselves. And it feels like they maybe feel cornered and they're going to continue to dig themselves deeper. Now, I think if there's a cool-off period here, then you're going to get on a page where you can talk about it a little bit. Okay? I think everybody needs to take a beat. And I think that it's important for you, like I said, get out there, do something else. Just completely different from this situation. Do not let it take over. Don't let it win. Okay. Let's see. So this face. Okay, so I'm just so taken by this one. I almost feel like, well, I know that it's some kind of goddess archetype, but I almost feel like it is related to somebody who, somebody in your family who watches over you. Okay, and I don't even know that you know them that well. I feel like this could be a family member who passed when you were really young. But they were around when you were being born. And you were a great happiness in their life. Of course, you were quite young, so you probably don't remember them directly, right? You remember maybe memories that people have shared with you. Pictures, videos, that kind of thing. But I do think that this is somebody who really, truly I feel like you were just fully encapsulated by their love, by their want to protect you, to kind of walk beside you through this life. And I think there's a deep soul connection here, even more so than you really see in some kind of extended family relationships. I think this is somebody who is in your kind of incarnate cycles. You know, you're in the same lives together, the same timelines. And so I think that this is, and if you know who I'm talking about, I think, you know, it's a person that that you recognize, right? You will, I think, even have like a picture up of them up somewhere. Maybe even it is a picture of them like holding you as an infant. But I think that even people in your family might be like, well, it's really weird that, like, because you were so young when they passed, but you have this connection. And maybe you even have something similar, like a same kind of smile, or your eyes are very similar or something. And people are often kind of, it takes them to a place, it transports them when they hear you laugh, or when they meet you for the first time and they look in your eyes and they say, oh my goodness, you know, you remind me so much of your grandmother, or you know, you look just like your aunt, something like this. And I think that they are there with you. And I also feel like this is a person who was really known for being quite level-headed. And I think this is why they come in, because I think that there's somebody who kind of helps keep your equilibrium in these situations, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna like really I'm really gonna go off the deep end on this one. This is an ancestor, an elder, a beloved family member who just is like, no, 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 you know, let's take it easy. Let's go slow here. You know, do your breaths, do your breathing, take some time. And I think that that's, you know, this is a lovely energy. And I keep seeing rings. I almost wonder if there's a wedding ring here. If you maybe have their wedding ring, or there's some kind of importance within the family about this ring that they had. Okay, so we also have 27 right there, 27, 27. We have a 6. Wow, so when we turn it even further, my goodness, and pull it out, I'm so taken by this figure. It looks like they're seated. And what are they holding? I keep thinking, is that a pillow? It looks like a map. And there's a key right down here. And this person is upside down, but they're holding, it looks like a clover, or maybe like a maple leaf. When I turn it this way, it looks like we have a honey pot here. And then this kind of turns into a little angel with the little wings and the head. Oh. Oh, interesting. So this is actually pretty, this one is pretty sensitive. So, it seems like maybe there was a child, or maybe a baby that transitioned when they were young. Maybe this was kind of they were never born, or there wasn't a live birth. Okay, let's say it that way. And and so we see this figure here, and I feel like there's this child with them, like they're taking care of a child. The child is with them, and it's almost kind of like they're waiting for you. You know, they want you to live out your life, right? And live it as well as you can. They want you to have a good life, but they're there. They're there watching over you. And that's what it is. That's what's coming through. How interesting. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we have 21. Oh no, is this where we were looking before? Yeah, that's right. We already looked at this one. Gosh, lots of numbers today. Okay. Yeah, that 3 is really nice too. All right, let's take a look. That key, I'd like to know what the key is. Keep looking at it right here. There's a 3 next to it. You can see right there. We have a bird. So you have a messenger. We have a messenger. Maybe that's where the key will come through a messenger bird. So some kind of sign, symbol, dream. It feels like a dream, maybe. I think it will. You'll wake up and you'll think, this is it. This seems like this is important. Write it down so you don't forget. I know, so many of the keys of my life. I would be, you know, like maybe a bazillionaire by now if I kept all the keys that I was given. Oh, geez. All right, so let's see. We have a J right here. A J. And then we have a 7 right here. We also have a 2. At 27 again. 27. So I feel like there's a sense of maybe like a family gathering coming up, or something where people are going to be coming together, and I feel like there's a sense of somebody being kind of on the outside of it all. You can see there's like a building here, or like a house, okay? We have a group of people. They look like animals to me, but they're people, and they're all gathered together. Now we have this other one way out here by themselves. And I wonder if this is not the person that you've been having kind of there's been the lying happening, the child, significant other, whoever it is. And even though you are maybe a little ticked off, or, you know, feeling kind of like, what is going on? This is like absolutely, you know, not the thing I was expecting. I think it's important for you, depending on what they're lying about, of course, but it's important for you to make sure that they're not they're not becoming like kind of adrift, because I think this is quite an emotional person. I wonder if they are not prone to kind of states of depression, melancholy, self-isolation, this kind of thing. I think it's important to, you know, let them know that they are loved, right? You love them. And yeah, this is going to take a while for you to feel comfortable again. You need to work through some things, and hopefully you can start communicating about it. But you love this person, you know, and you don't want them to suffer, and you don't want them to feel like this thing is bigger than it needs to be. And I say this because I think, you know, we live in a world where people are very lonely anyhow, right? Even people that are surrounded by others all the time, even people who are in, you know, seemingly good marriages, seemingly happy families. They have, you know, a lot of privileges, and, you know, maybe even like they're stable financially, and they have opportunities, and, you know, and the whole spectrum of, you know, of that, and how those things go, the variables of our lives. But I think a lot of people are very lonely. And I think that a lot of people are in a lot of pain. And I don't know, I think it's a lot of factors. It's a lot of different things. There's not one answer to it, and there's not one fix for it. But I think it can be catastrophic for us to alienate the people that we love because they've done something that we don't like. Okay. And I guess I say this because, I mean, from my own experience, I'm an addict, right? I'm a substance abuser, or, well, I was, or whatever. I'm still an addict. I'll always be an addict. I'm in recovery for almost 10 years. So I know what it is to be the person lying. I know what it is to be the person hiding things. I know how it is to be the person making bad decisions and hurting people. I also know what it is to be the person who's being lied to. I know what it's like to be the person who has been, you know, stolen from and treated poorly and you know, trying to help somebody, and they just won't be honest with me or themselves or whatever. I get it. It's not an easy position to be in. But I also am in recovery. I go to, you know, meetings. I know people in recovery. I have a family who is in recovery. I have family who's not in recovery. I have family who did not survive the circumstances of our, you know, of our kind of shared addictions and friends and everything else. So for me, it's this really, you know, it's hard because I'm a Virgo, and I forgive people, I'll let things go, but I don't forget stuff, you know. And I'm not unlike you, Aries, where I take it to my heart of hearts. But I also see that people who are rejected, people who are alienated, people who, they make some mistakes. Now, I'm not talking big stuff, right? I'm talking about littler things. It absolutely can be a life and death thing. And I'm not just talking about addiction. I mean, this is the world that we live in. You know, there's, it's hard. It would be hard to find somebody who hasn't been touched by somebody who's having you know, at some point, somebody in their families, one of their good friends, whatever, in their community, who has had some kind of a mental health crisis. A lot of it due to loneliness. Feeling like nobody hears them, nobody cares about them, the world rejects them. So I'm sorry. I know some people on here sometimes say don't preach. This is a reading. Well, guess what? This is also a place where I'm going to tell you what's on my heart. Okay? And I don't mean to be rude about it, but, you know, I have a great love for people, even if I am kind of a solitary person. I love people. I do. And I don't want people to suffer. And so, yeah, I think that sometimes we have to consider the bigger picture. Yeah, we have to consider, yeah, my feelings are hurt, and dang it, I don't like being lied to, but I also am not going to punish somebody so deeply that they feel like they can't talk to me. They can't be around me. Because that can be devastating. Okay? So I just want you to consider that. And I feel like there is this feeling of them being shunned. They feel shunned. They perceive it. Now, that doesn't mean that that's really what's happening. Okay? But I do. I think that we are the keepers of our kin, our neighbors, you know, our fellow human beings. And sometimes, you know, we have to kind of, we have to work through our things, even in these difficult circumstances, you know. And that, again, I'm not saying this is for every situation. If they did something really terrible, then, you know, whatever. Don't listen to me. Disregard. But, you know, I think more often than not, the things that drive a wedge between us are just little things. You know, just little things added up. And I hate to see that. I do. So I have a cat that's fallen asleep over here on me. We're going to do the Dreamer's deck, 40 affirmations for pursuing your dreams. And I'm going to go ahead and flip through and stop where it feels right. And it says, I know that exploring my passions will lead to my purpose. I am doing what feels good. And I think this is it. It really is about balancing those kind of squiggly, messy feelings that are happening, focusing on the things that, you know, make you feel confident, the things that make you feel thrilled to be alive, the passion of going and doing this thing that I've been wanting to do, seeing this beauty, experiencing something new, finally, you know, giving some time to yourself where you get to pursue your dreams. Okay, and that's what I think that is some of the most healing stuff that we have. Okay, Aries, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do. And I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you would like to leave a comment, please do. I would love to hear from you. And other than that, yeah, I'm going to tell you again, I love you, I love you, I love you. Take care of yourself. And we'll talk in just a few days. Good night.